What is up everyone, it's Saber here and welcome to another Naruto What If you end up liking the video, please consider subscribing. It's free and you can take it back at any time and it really helps me out, and this is my main channel, so if you're interested in what if Naruto had Madara and the Kyuubi sealed inside of him, or what if Naruto was Ice Guide to Game of Thrones, go check out my main channel. And if you're interested in what if Naruto was taken over by the Kyuubi when he was born, or what if Naruto was trained by Itachi after leaving Jiraiya, go check out my second channel. And with all of the YouTube formalities out of the way, let's get into it. He moved down the dark hallway made of stone towards a certain place. He found the heavy wooden door barred with many metal locks and a few that were electronic, plus there were many security seals. Naruto was admitted inside since he was now a bearer of Madara's Akatsuki ring. It was only fair he got it. He killed him, which was thought nearly impossible. Hi Jiraiya sensei. Naruto greeted his teacher. In a friendly manner he set the tray with food on the table next to Jiraiya's bed. Jiraiya was lying down, with his eyes closed, seeming relaxed and without a care, but it was a mask that couldn't fool Naruto, and Jiraiya knew it. You should eat to keep up your strength, Naruto said as he took seat at the table. He looked around the cell briefly. It was small, bare of any comfort save for the bed, the table with two chairs. There was a ceiling light fixture, a small chemical WC, and a shower stall, just the basics for living. And why should I want to keep up my strength, Naruto? Jiraiya asked wearily. He still ached from his and Nagato's unexpected betrayal. You two are going to destroy the world. I can't bear to watch it since it was me who taught you the way of ninja. Please, Naruto chuckled in amusement. You didn't teach me nothing save for the Rasengan, some other extra tricks you developed and your senjutsu. If you really believed you helped me to grow stronger, well, you were a good sword sparring partner. I needed it more than anything else. You consider senjutsu irrelevant? Jiraiya asked in surprise. Truth be told, Naruto picked up that extremely difficult skill rather easily. It was as if he was already trained for it. He remembered the surprise on Pa's face as Naruto mastered the gathering of the Sage Chakra in a month without a mistake. His ability only grew until he was able to absorb the nature's energy while he moved, which was considered impossible until Naruto did it. As Naruto said, it wasn't hard for him to split his concentration between his regular motion and gathering the nature's chakra. Jiraiya himself found it impossible to achieve, but Naruto's clever remarks led him to another trick. He figured out he could use a shadow clone to gather the nature's energy while he distracted his opponent. It was a brilliant move he'd have never thought to use until Naruto mentioned how he could split his concentration in two. It's impressive but risky style of combat. I can use it in you too, but to make a mistake means instant petrification. That's unpleasant, Naruto said with a shrug. I suppose, but you know that no technique is without its drawbacks. Yes, by the way, I killed Madara. What? Jiraiya's voice wavered in shock. Naruto nodded, looking at him seriously. I did. It was agreed between myself and Nagato that Madara had to be removed. The man was getting too presumptuous in his ambition to rule the world. So Madara was the true founder of the Akatsuki? No, he joined them back when they were still in the Rain Country, trying to create peace. He gave them more jutsus to study. He taught them to fight better and acted as an advisor. After Yahiko's death, he took more proactive role in the organization, and soon he took over. Nagato was too distracted with his new ambition to care until recently, but Madara was too powerful to be ignored or killed even by Nagato until now, Jiraiya said with flat tone. Yes, he was careless with me after they sucked Kyuubi out of me, so he kept his word to revive you. Jiraiya was surprised. He didn't have to. I was alive after it was done. Obviously my Uzumaki physiology was able to survive the stress. I don't get it. What's you being an Uzumaki got to do with anything? Naruto stared at Jiraiya and suddenly laughed. It seems that my father has kept some secrets even from you. Naruto didn't know many of these things himself until he met Madara and squeezed his brain dry, so to speak. I don't know what you mean, Jiraiya retorted angrily. Minato always trusted him more than anyone. Relax, I suppose he was under orders from Sarutobi. You see, I am the third Jinchuriki of Kyuubi. Impossible, Jiraiya breathed his denial. Oh, you have no idea what is possible, sensei. You see, my clan is related to the Senju, and we also had some special abilities. One of them was to block, to suppress the Biju with our chakra. Mind you, only a few of us had the gift. So Kushina was the second. Who was the first, Jiraiya asked Shodai's wife Uzumaki Mito. She helped him fight Madara at the Valley of the End. She used her knowledge of sealing and her special chakra to contain Kyuubi within herself. After Shigekure no Sato was destroyed, my mother was already in Konoha as she was chosen as Mito's inheritor. Shit, she was Tsunade's grandmother. I met her a few times, but she never had those whiskers like you. Not even Kushina did. Funny, isn't it? Everyone believed it was because of Kyuubi being sealed in me, but I had them already when I was born. On that night, Madara was kind enough to show me what he did back then, so he was behind that. Oh yes, he killed the guards Bawako-san, and Tried to kill my father, but he was outclassed by him and father removed his ability to summon the QB. Then he saw my mom dying and decided to seal it in me to ensure that Konoha would have a weapon against Madara. I'm sure he didn't want you to suffer for me too, but he would have done it anyway. He loved the village more than anything, more than me. I'm over it anyway. But I truly believe that Konoha has grown fat on the blood of its heroes and ungrateful. They will learn that mistakes and sins have to be paid for. It's the basic truth of our lives. I will show Konoha that they shouldn't have hated me, but Naruto, people always do stupid things every day of their damned lives. They make mistakes. Don't you think it's better you just forget it and move on? I swear, let me go and I'll forget you ever existed. I won't hunt you. I won't let anyone do it either. Go live your life in peace. But I beg you to not do it. Not everyone is guilty of hating you. You talk well, sensei, but you can't back that up. Besides, I'm doing it for every Jinchuriki that was and might be. You saw what Suna did to Gaara. I killed him and he was better off dead. I will make sure that no village can make a Jinchuriki again ever. I see there is no way I can stop you, no, but you will live to see the world changed. Ninja villages will have to live without their precious weapons. I wonder which nation will be the strongest after their weapons are gone. You will have to kill the other Jinchuriki. Can you do it? Naruto chuckled. Oh, I can. Nagato has promised to revive each after we relieve them of their burden. I suppose that some will even join us. Jiraiya's side in defeat. He was also convinced it was a possibility. Naruto stood up. See you later, sensei. I'll be keeping you updated on our progress. He left the cell and closed the door, knowing that Jiraiya would be staying where he was. He couldn't escape his cell because of Nagato's ingenious security. He chuckled to himself. If that didn't cement his image as someone who could be trusted, well, he had other tricks up his sleeve. He hoped that Nagato bought his little justice will be done charade. So you've recovered already? Nagato spoke through his Deva path. That one was a guy with short spiky orange hair. Naruto didn't know which power was his to wield, but it was surely something dangerous. He could feel it. I am as surprised as you are, but I made good on my part of our agreement. Will you? I suppose if you do get killed in the near future, I will try to revive you. Is that good enough? It will do. Naruto nodded slightly. What's our next move? Kakuzu and Haiden have acquired Nibi's host and are on the way here. That was fast. They are formidable ninjas, however flawed they might appear. I understand, Naruto said while thinking. 2 weeks have passed quickly. While he was being busy trying out his newly acquired ability and researching Geto Mazo, he learned a lot and was already planning his next moves carefully. Geto Mazo was built with Senju Hashirama's cells inside to be able to contain the Biju, while it also served to grow more Zetsus who were not actually alive. He had to give it to Madara. That guy really had imagination. He realized that Hashirama was a unique shinobi, a man who was a tree as much as he was human. It was very similar to Senjutsu gone wrong. Hashirama was a living wood sage, with his body being naturally able to generate specific chakra that gave wood element as a result. On the other hand, it was also a residue of Sage's ability to create things with his power of his Izanagi. It was literally the power to make living wood. Madara realized it a long time ago and utilized it to recreate the ultimate Sharingan jutsu. There is Izanagi that manipulated space and time to negate certain moments that occurred in reality. Another interesting side effect of absorbing Hashirama's cells was Madara's longevity. He didn't age as he used to, but that didn't mean he stopped aging altogether. Still, he was planning to do something about it after he conquered the world. He had time aplenty, or so he believed. Naruto already knew where he could absorb Hashirama's pure DNA in Konoha. He certainly didn't want to mess with Zetsu, who was some sort of mutated artificial thing designed to serve Madara. Only I think I should be going back to Konoha, he announced to Nagato. Why? I'm not needed here. Not really, and Toads could figure out something and take action against me. I should go back and tell them what happened. Of course I will be the victim here. Konoha will know that you are the leader of the Akatsuki and some of your powers, but not the whole story. On the other hand, Jiraiya's spy network will be mine now and out of function. Tsunade and the rest will automatically relax their guard around me, knowing I'm no longer QB's host. I will be able to spy for you, and trust me, I'm still very powerful. How far did you go in your training? Nagato asked. Here comes the part where I have to appear to be trustworthy. Naruto grinned inwardly. He knew that Nagato was watching him while he talked with Jiraiya. I have mastered Senjutsu like Jiraiya. I'm sure you remember what he could do. That's impressive. Yes, and now I'll be even better without QB disturbing me. I am better than Jiraiya at it. My chakra control is better than as ever was. Yes, I see. You will be able to wreak havoc upon Konoha when the time comes. Naturally, also I want to inform Sasuke where to find Itachi. It's time they faced off. Maybe I agree with your plan, but first things first, find me the Hachibi and bring him here. Can you do that? Naruto shrugged. Consider it done. I don't need any help with that. You have done well with that seal array I gave you. Naturally, you do know that you have to tire the host before applying it. Of course it won't pose a problem for me. Well, you may leave. I expect you will return within 10 days. Sure. By the way, what do you plan about Orochimaru? Nothing yet. Why? He could cause trouble if he takes hold of Sasuke. He may gain sufficient power To put a wrench in our wheels, so to speak. Interesting but unlikely as you wish, Naruto said while scowling internally. That snake charmer was dangerous but could prove useful. He knew a lot about Shodai and about Madara. He also had access to the impure world resurrection technique, a jutsu to revive the dead temporarily that could prove useful. He had some ideas how to get it from him. Naruto was lying on the hard surface of the rocky hill within the lightning country, thinking how to approach his current task. He was relaxed knowing that nobody saw him or felt his presence. He took his time to find the Hachibi's container. Killer Bee was impressive in his own right. The man was tall, built like a professional wrestler or boxer, with massive musculature that spoke of great strength, if nothing else. Dark-skinned with white mustache and beard, always carrying those swords of his. He was dangerous. Naruto observed the Jinchuriki for several days to see how he fought, and thought he couldn't afford to underestimate this man, and he learned that Bee was friendly with his Biju to the point he could temporarily switch with it to use its body and abilities as his own. That was a surprise. QB would have never agreed to that. He didn't see Bee do it. He took that info from one of his guards he encountered while looking for him. The guard's memory was a key piece of information to make his strategy. It was going to be tricky. Dust swirled in the air. Clouds floated in the sky, making patches of shadow below. Sun was high, a gigantic orb of light and heat that literally baked the land below. It was no wonder that nothing grew here, and air was humid from water that was rising from the surface of several small lakes that were nearby. That kind of geography was common in this country, which explained why Kyomo ninjas were so fond of lightning jutsu. They were easy to make and launch in humid atmosphere since water carried electricity. Well, Naruto finally stood up and shined close to the Jinchuriki's lair. It was a simple tent at the bottom of the wide stairway that led up the rocky hill where some kind of shrine resided. It was of no interest to Naruto, who was firmly focused on his soon-to-be opponent. Wind blew from Naruto's right, disturbing his black cloak covered with red clouds. Naruto refused to wear his old headband, nor he painted his nails like other members of the organization. He found the idea stupid. Why should anyone announce where he hailed from, which would also announce what kind of skills he had? Hey, is anybody here? Naruto yelled and waited. He didn't have to wait for long. Bee's muscular form emerged slowly from the tent. He was looking bored and somewhat aggravated. Naruto knew it was a lie meant to lull him into a false sense of security. Bee was actually very alert and ready to fight. Yo, what's your game? Cause I find you lame, Bee sung at Naruto while waving his hands in a weird fashion. Naruto sighed. He should have known that Bee would be weird. Most powerful ninjas, where it was widely known Kakashi and Guy, were shining examples of that. I work for the Akatsuki. My boss sent me to take you with me so that we could extract your Biju. He promises that you will be unharmed and returned home after we get what we want. So will you come peacefully or not? Bee was silent, his head cocked slightly to his left as if he was listening to someone, which was most likely his Biju. Naruto waited patiently. He was actually eager to fight. Nope, can't be done. This dude's trusting and none. Bee rapped back and assumed a fighting stance. Okay, I can live with that. Naruto shrugged and sent a few kunai at Bee, who nimbly dodged the attack and rushed Naruto with his massive hands ready to crush his skull. Naruto slid around his fists, countering with fast kicks that forced Bee to make distance between them. Naruto attacked, then moving fast and straight at the massive ninja, aiming low. Bee blocked several attempts at his abdomen and knees while trying to grab Naruto in an obvious attempt to grapple. It was a sound strategy. Bee was stronger and bigger. Naruto finally seemed to slip up. He didn't move fast enough to evade Bee's hand. Bee latched on his left forearm and pulled him closer just as he was about to smash his head in. Naruto molded his chakra and wind blades burst from his skin in a wild hurricane of chakra. Bee had remarkable reflexes. He managed to escape with only a few cuts on his arms and torso. They were already healing thanks to his Biju. Naruto smirked, openly taunting his opponent. Bee realized that close combat against an obvious wind user was unwise. Not without proper tools. He unsheathed his many swords and soon he looked like a hedgehog with those metal blades sticking out of his body shape. Naruto unsealed two Tanto blades and waited for Bee to attack. He was almost amused. Bee rushed without a care for his defense, moving swiftly like lightning, swirling and slashing and stabbing. Naruto used the open space to dodge and dance away from Bee's attacks, predicting each with the aid of the force. He had to admit Bee was no slouch in sword fighting. He used his peculiar stance and movement to shield himself and attack at once, forcing his opponents to defend, and very few could match his speed and agility. He knew it. Bee finally rolled away, stopping to catch breath. He frowned slightly. The blonde kid took his attack without a scratch. He wasn't even breathing hard. He decided to step up his game. He gathered his chakra and channeled it into his swords, which begun glowing with lightning-based chakra. Bee looked like a glowing conglomeration of steel. When he came at Naruto, Naruto merely channeled wind chakra in his Tanto blades. They became immune to lightning chakra. B's attacks were deflected or dodged again. You'll have to try harder than that. Killer B wind trumps lightning. Each time Naruto taunted the man again, using the force to make him feel angrier than usual. He didn't wait for B to prepare again, but he focused his chakra and swung his blades, as if he was using whips. Invisible bursts of wind chakra flew at B, who wildly dodged around them using his rudimentary chakra detection to survive the onslaught. Every ninja worth his salt could do that to a varying degree. B finally decided to get serious. He abandoned his swords and red cloak of chakra enveloped his being. He was reeking of power and he launched himself at Naruto with unbelievable speed. Most ninjas wouldn't have had the time to dodge. Naruto wasn't one of them. B's attack was foolishly straightforward. The man was aiming to tear his head off with his arm. Naruto saw him come and he saw what would happen before it happened. He dodged B's armored forearm and sliced at his back. B roared in pain as wind blades slightly pierced Hachibi's cloak. He suddenly blurred away with Shunshin. Crap. B thought furiously at his Biju. That guy isn't normal either. Nobody could just dodge my attacks like that. He is incredibly good. He felt familiar though. Hachibi said to his host, there is a power in him, something I haven't sensed for a long time. What is it? B asked. I can't say, I can't remember. B didn't have time to talk further. He sensed attack coming and jumped away from his hiding spot. The rock wall behind him suddenly toppled down, cut in pieces by wind chakra. I guess I forgot to mention that I can track down chakra sources. Naruto laughed and launched more wind attacks at B, who sped around them while using Hachibi's chakra to aid him. Time for the second transformation, B said to Hachibi, and chakra surged forth, enveloping him in thick multi-tailed form that was seething with power and speed. He vanished from his spot and reappeared next to Naruto, ready to strike him. Naruto's arm caught B's fist in an iron grip. B stared in shock at Naruto, whose eyes were now yellow with orange rim around them. His strength was insane. Naruto smiled and kicked B in stomach, sending him 50 meters away, tumbling and rolling like a broken doll. Naruto added some force push to his kick. He knew B would try this, so he was readying his sage mode the whole time. He was itching to truly try it against someone he didn't have to spare. Sage mode was a fantastic combat form, making his body hard as rock and fast as wind itself. Even his own ability to use the force was magnified because his physical form was stronger, more able to endure the effort of channeling it. There was a good reason why the Jedi and the Sith trained hard. Strong body housed strong mind. Naruto was next to B in an instant, and kicking him high in the air, he jumped up and delivered a powerful kick downwards, which sent the Jinchuriki into the ground like a meteor. Dirt and rocks flew upwards from the crack in the ground as Naruto landed on his feet. B's chakra didn't fade away. His power was too great to be overcome with mere punches and kicks. He flew from his hole at Naruto, but the blonde Sith was too fast. Truth be told, he would have been able to dodge B's attacks even in his normal form thanks to his precognition. They fought like two titans, exchanging blows and kicks at the speed of light. Naruto's sage form provided him with Tsunade's strength, Orochimaru's agility, and his father's speed. B was almost as equal. Naruto waited for his chance as he blocked B's furious attacks, and then he went at him with the attack he learned from Jiraiya. He formed an enormous ball of chakra in his right, which quickly grew as big as him. Ultimate Rasengan. Naruto screamed just for fun and drove the massive sphere of energy right at B. His tails moved in front of him, reflexively trying to block that monstrous attack. Explosion of energy and sound drove both warriors apart by dozens of meters, raising dust and rocks in the air. Silence descended like a cloak over the clearing. Nothing moved. What was that? B asked in pain. Shock. That was too much like a Biju ball. We must attack fully now. He is too dangerous. Hachibi roared. B agreed. Power flowed again and everything went bright. For a moment he felt enormous. In the next moment, full of power, and his pain was a thing of past. He gathered energy in his throat, smiling grimly. It was time to show that annoying kid what was real. Chakra bomb. He opened his slash Hachibi's maul wide to annihilate that fool and let loose, but he saw something. He felt its power as it flew towards him. His eyes went wide in surprise. It was a massive chakra flying right at him, and he desperately changed aim to block it. To his disbelief, another sphere of chakra looking like a huge shuriken, just like the first, followed behind the one he blocked. There was no time to even blink before everything went white. Naruto used the force to stay where he was as a truly massive explosion rocked the valley, raising dust and stone for hundreds of meters around in a violent conflagration of energies released by his and B's attacks. He grinned to himself as his kinetic shield deflected the wave of displaced rock and air. His double Rasenshuriken attack was a thing of exquisite beauty, the first to counter B's chakra blast, the second to hit him right in the ugly Mug he used the force to search for B and found him floating on the surface of newly formed lake that came from below. As their mutual attack opened the way for the water to come up, he walked on the water calmly, releasing the sage mode, and crouched to pick up the Jinchuriki, who appeared unconscious and badly beaten. Nice, very nice, Naruto whispered to himself and made a gripping gesture with his right hand down below the surface. Killer B stiffened and grabbed at his neck as if trying to dislodge the invisible hand that was choking him. His Biju was alarmed as well, but unable to help the attack. They barely survived. Shocked B's body too much, and he wasn't ready to transform again. Naruto concentrated harder, his eyes narrowing and his fingers twitching as if he was feeling something, looking for a better grip there, he thought triumphantly, and clamped on B's aorta that was the main conduit for the blood to his brain. In seconds, B's struggles ceased as his blood pressure went down and he fell unconscious. His body was pulled upwards and Naruto floated it above the water, allowing B to breathe again. B's fake body dissolved into a tail of Hachibi's chakra, then it was fully gone. It was a nice decoy. He applied Nagato's restraining seal on B and opened the portal to escape with his quarry unchallenged. He entered the pocket dimension that existed parallel next to his own, just like Madara. He could enter it as well, but his own was slightly different, whereas Madara's dimension held a set of platforms atop square vertically elongated blocks. His dimension was a flat singular round surface whose walls were pitch black. It was as if he stood within a dome without entrance or exit. The walls were seemingly endless void, which was just an illusion since they absorbed light. He set B down on the yellow surface and sat down too. He wasn't going to return to the Akatsuki's lair while tired. He smiled with satisfaction. His combat skills were uncompromised by the loss of QB. It was well that he never learned to rely on the beast within. There were better ways to fight than using raw power. Even Jiraiya would have been able to attack B, although not so easily. The most important thing was he didn't need to rely on the force wholly. He was quite strong on his own, and that was good to know. The force just gave him an invisible edge that no one truly suspected. Oh, Nagato knew he had some extra skills, but he didn't really know what he was capable of. He was still safe. Underestimated. His little invisible chameleon watcher would show him no more than he expected to see. Naruto chuckled to himself. It was almost funny to consider that Rinnegan was interesting. Maybe he should take one for himself, or maybe talk Nagato into giving him one. He obviously could share it with his puppets. He called his path. Still, he had to plan carefully. The next was to stage Itachi Sasuke reunion, and it was time for Orochimaru to die soon. As he was pondering his future moves, a shadow shifted from B's lying form and merged with Naruto's own. The young Sith frowned as he felt something, but then relaxed. It was nothing. He thought no more about it. He had important things to ponder about. Time skip. You've succeeded, Konan stated with cool face as Naruto passed her by at the entrance to the Akatsuki's hideout. He was carrying the massive unconscious form of Killer B in a fireman's carry, looking totally relaxed. Of course, Naruto grinned with false cheer, looking back at the woman. Did you really doubt I could do my job? Konan shrugged coolly. You're young still, but my spirit is old, Naruto joked, and Konan was forced to lengthen her stride to catch up with the young blonde. Say, how goes our effort? Well, while you were gone, Pain has sent others to collect their own targets. He was confident of your success. We have gained the custody over 2 more hosts. They passed several tricky layers of security, then they were within the cave system proper. The walls were damp, jagged like teeth of a subterranean monster. The light was low. Small nocturnal creatures moved about, silent and quick. Lichen grew in patches here and there. Stalactites crawled from the above like unseen spears that could fall at any time on their heads. The air was slightly stale, carrying the smells of dampness and rot that was everywhere. Shichibi and Rokubi, that quit. Konan smiled in darkness. Pain has sent Kakuzu and Haiden to acquire the Shichibi while he went himself after the Rokubi. Naruto whistled in surprise. While he's certainly moved fast, that will catch the ninja villages by surprise. There's 5 more to be gathered. Indeed, we will get them later. Our priority was to gather as many of the Biju as possible in the shortest period. We mustn't let the ninja villages to mount an organized defense. Konoha and Mist will protect Sanbai, who is unsealed. In fact, if I were in their position, I'd seal him and a child right away, and then I'd hide them somewhere where nobody would have thought to look. It would buy them some time at the least until they could deal with us. Konan paused in her walk, blinking fast. Why do that? Our spies have already helped us locate the other Jinchuriki. They would do so again. Naruto chuckled in amusement. You mean Madara's spies? They are no longer reliable. Not without Madara, who was able to move around unnoticed. We can't do that, so we can't use his spies. Besides, I'm quite sure they are going to make sure that only 1 or 2 people are aware of the location of said possible Jinchuriki. Maybe just one very trusted ninja who'd also pose as the child's caretaker and trainer. That's a lot of speculation. Konan looked unsure. Suit yourself, but I'd still ask Pain if it was possible, Naruto said, and they kept moving until they reached the grand cavern where Geto Mazo was. It was the same momentous cavern, and the demonically looking statue was vibrating with malevolent aura. For Naruto's senses, he could feel QB writhing within its new prison, just a massive concentration of hot rage, and with no mind whatsoever. Naruto found it peculiar every time he approached the statue. Kyuubi was usually always that massive malevolent mind lurking within his belly, always watching and yearning to burst out and devour him, but now the mind was almost gone. It was just an animal desiring freedom and destruction. Naruto deposited Killer Bee in the corner of a cell assigned to him. It was just like Jiraiya's. There was another person in it. Yujito ni of Kumogakure no Sato. Yujito was tall, blonde, kunoichi with slit irises, marking her as Nibi no Nakomota's host. She was well endowed but slightly muscular, which revealed her intense kunoichi training. Now she looked shocked. Killer Bee, how did you get him? Naruto removed Bee's restraining seal, thus allowing the man to wake up later on. Turned his head to regard Yujito coldly. I defeated him and brought him here. He was a tough nut to crack. Yujito hissed angrily, just like a cat would. You don't look old enough to shave, punk. True, I don't need to shave, but what does that have to do with my skills? What village do you hail from? Why do you want to know? So that I can take your head to your Kage. Asshole, mark my words, when I escape I will kick your ass for attacking Bisama. Ha, big words. From a Jinchuriki who couldn't defeat Haiden and Kakuzu, I could take them out by myself. Naruto sneered. Yujito hissed again, rising to her feet, but Naruto's cold gaze stopped her. There was something in it, something dangerous. So you do have some smarts, Yujito ni. Naruto nodded. I won't kill you nor your Bisama. You are here merely to be freed from your burden. I will ask Leader Sama to free you after we extract Hachibi and Nibi. If you're lying, everybody knows that Biju hosts can't survive the extraction. We are dependent upon our Biju's chakra. Yujito expressed her opinion coldly, crossing her arms under her chest area, giving her upper body even more appeal than usual. Naruto smiled inwardly. She was a consummate kunoichi who was still trying to find a way out of her predicament by trying to seduce her captor. Oh, is that so? Naruto replied while raising his shirt to show her his seal. I admit that the extraction ritual is quite painful, but as you can see I am quite alive. Yujito gaped in shock. That seal was so complex. She had never seen something like that. It was obviously meant to contain something very, very powerful. Who designed that? It's so you recognize quality work when you see it. I guess that Yandame Hokage would have been proud of being admired. His work is quite complex. Don't you agree? You are from Konoha. But Yujito stared at Naruto in sudden realization. You were Kyuubi's container. I was, but no more. Thanks to leader of the Akatsuki. His offer was not something to refuse. But why would you betray your village? Because I didn't volunteer to be stuffed with Kyuubi, and my co-villagers dared to blame me for Kyuubi's actions on that night. What a bunch of ungrateful hypocrites. They survived only because their beloved Hokage sacrificed me for their sake, and they in turn spat on his sacrifice by refusing to honor his last wish that I be respected for protecting them from harm. I see. If you were born in Kumo you'd have had the respect you deserved perhaps, but somehow I doubt that we the Jinchuriki are just weapons to be used, nothing more nor less. You may be respected, but that doesn't erase the truth of my words. I decided to help the Akatsuki to disarm the hidden villages so that no more people are turned into demon hosts. You will be allowed to live and return to your homes with this knowledge. You're crazy. Yujito shook her head sadly. There is no way that hidden villages will let you do as you like. Too bad. We already have you two, and Shichibi and Rokubi are on the way too. In a few weeks there will be only 2 Biju free Sanbai and Ichibi, and I already know where Ichibi will reform itself. Sanbai is poorly protected. Our organization will get it easily enough. Yujito was shaken. Naruto sensed it clearly. He turned around to leave. How did you defeat Bisama? Naruto looked back at her and smiled. Ask him when he wakes. I'm sure he'll have a story to tell. Tell him I was impressed with his skills. Too bad I was trained by Jiraiya of the Sannin. Naruto was treasuring Yujito's wide-eyed expression as he exited the cell. They were all together, the greatest assembly of the most powerful missing ninjas in the elemental nations, some in flesh, some as holograms, all standing atop Geto Mazo's fingertips. Kakuzu, Haiden, Naruto, Pain and Konan were there in person, while the rest were solid-looking projections. Pain was looking at the rest with calm gaze, while his aura exuded warm glow of satisfaction to Naruto's force senses. We welcome Uzumaki Naruto to our ranks. As a full member he has proven his ability and loyalty by acquiring the host of Hachibi alone. What? Haiden asked in surprise. Are you saying that this brat took on Hachibi alone and won? I do, and he did so without getting injured, which is more than can be said for yourself, Pain stated coldly. The statement drew stares towards Naruto. In some cases they were full of challenge for the young Sith Lord. We have gathered 4 Biju so far, and we will get others as well. The quicker the better. Hidden villages haven't organized themselves yet, so we still have time to move relatively Unhindered Gobi will be hunted by Haiden and Kakuzu assisted by Deidara Kisame, and Sasori will get Yanbi while Sanbai will be Itachi's and Naruto's job. Why do you change our groupings? Sasori wondered in his deep voice. A mere precaution. Sasori-san Pain replied, we are too close to our goal to allow any accidents. While our enemies are still disorganized, it doesn't mean they won't move after us. The extra men will serve as guards, as distractions. But I usually work with Itachi-san. Kisame complained. We know each other rather well. It's easier when you work with someone familiar. So do Naruto-san and Itachi-san. Pain countered calmly. They hail from the same village. They can work together easily enough. Besides, their target is the weakest of the lot. They will suffice. Pain's words were law in the organization, since nobody suspected that Uchiha Madara was in charge once except Itachi. That is, Naruto sensed Itachi's confusion and worry. Madara was supposed to kill Naruto or assign that task to someone else. Naruto suppressed a smile coming on his face. Itachi was going to be very surprised later. What's our timetable? Naruto asked. Pain, you move in 5 days. All of you get some rest and then go. I will begin extracting Hachibi. In the meantime, I do have one small request. Leader Sama, Naruto said to Pain, please, I'd like that the hosts are kept alive after the extraction. They are but tools, most of them unwillingly. So who cares? Deidara exclaimed. We should just go and do our thing and maybe blow up a village or two. Naruto's heavy killing intent flooded the cavern and Deidara stiffened. Despite not being really there, he could sense it, that massive pressure of someone else's chakra. Laced with anger, Deidara felt his throat clench tight as if someone tried to choke him slightly enough. Pain shouted while his own eyes seemed to loom in front of Naruto, filling his vision with dreadful silver orbs that seemed to swallow his own intent. Naruto inwardly sneered at the feeble attempt to intimidate him and cut of his own projection. Focusing on Pain again, we will not quarrel amongst ourselves, Pain stated icily. It is I who will decide what we do and when we will do it. In this case, I will follow Uzumaki-san's suggestion, and these Jinchuriki will be allowed to live and spread the word of our power. It will only aid us in our quest as a psychological factor. This meeting is finished. Naruto created 2 shadow clones in the hallway. Before anyone could notice, they immediately faded away, using their ability to warp space and time to move instantly between 2 spots. The first reappeared near one of Orochimaru's hideouts. It was well hidden, but not for the Sith. Naruto sighed in disappointment. Orochimaru took his connection to snakes too seriously. Really, a hole that led to the underground filled with halls and chambers and few guards and prisoners for experiments. Orochimaru was there as well. He was well hidden, but he had a foolish habit of dragging with him a few precious mementos like his old Akatsuki ring. He probably thought it was harmless, but the truth was far from it. Each ring was fashioned by the same person, Pain, thus they all had similar energy signature, which was easily tracked by Naruto, who now possessed one of those. Naruto simply used his own ring to scent the others, and with careful questing through the force he could pinpoint their approximate locations. He looked down and projected his vision through the force, and phased through the soil and entered the hideout. A few repeats of that and he was standing in the same room as Orochimaru. Naruto's clone didn't have any force powers, but even he could see that the Sannin was not all that healthy. He was in his bed, his sitting form sweating and panting. There were bottles on the table next to the bed, probably his drugs. You, Orochimaru hissed as soon as he saw the clone, who was wearing Madara's outfit. Now how did you come here? The clone decided to play it safe and mimicked Madara's manner of speaking. That's my business. Orochimaru, I see you're getting close to your next body transfer. It must irk you that Sasuke-kun is so far away. Orochimaru scowled, but dare not reply. It only confirmed that Orochimaru knew more about Madara than he was supposed to. You seem to know a bit about myself, Orochimaru, more than I ever suspected. Naruto's clone prodded the snake Sannin, but that's not relevant. Orochimaru suppressed the shiver at those words. They clearly indicated that the feared Uchiha was more powerful than he imagined. The clone went on, I suppose you believe you know of my plans more than anyone, but I assure you it's not so. To business, then. I have come to get from you something I want, the impure world resurrection technique. You will give it to me? Orochimaru burst into laughter, cackling like a madman. What makes you think I will give it to you? Why, I'll lead you to Sasuke-kun directly. I believe you want his body, and he is so strong now, plus he's working for Danzo. That makes him useless to me now. I had high hopes for him. You know, Danzo must have burned out his anger by now, so I won't be able to use it against him. Pity. Orochimaru's reptilian eyes fixated at the clone. Do you really believe that I would trust your words, that you'd be willing to write off the noble blood of the Uchiha as useless? That little brat is nothing compared to what real Uchiha is supposed to be. Naruto sneered, successfully imitating the ancient Uchiha. He's but a shadow of what we used to be, but what else could be expected of a child raised by Senju dogs? No, my little snake charmer, you can have that child. He is of no value to me now. I suppose Itachi will have to do. Orochimaru's breath stopped to hear one such as Madara speak, so he Had to wonder what was the man really capable of in his days of youth and prominence. There were many tales of the old Uchiha and his feats, some easily considered as fantasy, but now the Sannin had to wonder, why would you want that jutsu? I hardly can think of any warrior you could raise that isn't matched by those already working for you. True, but there are some warriors I knew who could serve me well. Again, I do know of your attempt to use Hashirama and Tobirama against your teacher. You cost me two valuable potential pawns. You know, I was ready to eliminate you then, but I stayed my hand. I learned a long time ago that decisions based on emotion are not good, so now you are willing to give me Sasuke for a fair price. How can I know you'll keep your word? You can't. That's why I will give you the boy, and then you will give me what I want. Be warned, I am still beyond any skill you possess. It will take you some time to truly master Sasuke's body, so I know you won't be able to renege on our agreement. Then you can walk away. I do warn you, do not try to kill Itachi. He is more powerful than you imagine. Orochimaru wasn't listening. He was salivating at the thought of gaining Sasuke's body and Sharingan eyes. Very well, you offer is more than generous. When do we move? I need to locate Sasuke-kun first outside the village. I must know how long does it take to change bodies. It's quick and assured process. Just get me close, and I'll do the rest. I'll need guards to keep away his root partners. Good, then we have a deal. We do. Orochimaru grinned sickly, his long tongue sneaking between his pale lips hungrily. If all goes well, I will demonstrate the jutsu right then, so you can be sure I gave you the real thing. Not to mention that he would use some very special people to test Madara's power as he fled. How kind of you. In fact, I will ask a favor from you. You will use Sasuke-kun's body to infiltrate Konoha and eliminate Danzo. He could prove annoying later on. Oh, I will do so. Orochimaru grinned, immediately relinquishing the idea of attacking Madara. He had to save his summons for Danzo. The old coot knew too much about him anyway. First Danzo, then Madara and Akatsuki. Using Sasuke as cover, he would have the whole of Konoha at his back. By the way, is it true that Jiraiya is dead? The rumor is that he met one of your underlings and didn't survive. Ah, that's not so. He is enjoying our hospitality. Since he has some valuable skills, I might employ. Jiraiya would never work for you. Orochimaru scoffed, feeling confident in his former friend's resilience. I never said so, but there are ways to take what we need when we need it. There was a sound of smug malice in those words, reminding Orochimaru again, who was it in front of him? Be ready. I will bring Sasuke-kun to you before too long. Sasuke jumped up, making a somersault. He released a veritable storm of shuriken at various targets, hitting each in the bullseye with ease. He extended his right hand, and light burst from it, shaping itself into a long spear of lightning chakra that cut the rocks like hot knife through butter. He suddenly vanished from sight, reappearing next to masked Naruto's shadow clone, ready to kill him with his Chikudo. Naruto's clone ducked and shinned away, evading Sasuke's follow-up with a burst of shuriken. Whoa, I come in peace, don't kill me, the clone exclaimed, waving his arms comically. Sasuke's twin Sharingans spun blazing, and scanning the apparition in front of the young Uchiha. You're a shadow clone, and seeing your chakra, I can't help but feel as if I've seen it before. The clone grinned smugly under his mask. He suspected it would be so. His chakra signature did change after the extraction of his furry burden. I'm Toby. Toby is a good boy. Toby says he's never met Sasuke-san before. Sasuke stared blandly. He was a little perturbed by this person. What do you want? You're not from Konoha. Oh no, Toby is from far away. He is a friend. Naruto spoke in a childish way, keeping up the pretense. He had to admit it was kind of fun to mess with people that way. Maybe that's why Kakashi enjoyed being so late. Not Kakashi was really that way. What do you want? I just want to tell you a message. What? That's right, Itachi-san wants to meet you. Sasuke's calm was shattered like glass being thrown to the floor. He was next to Naruto's clone, lifting him off his feet. You, where is he? Tell me. The clone struggled briefly, pretending being scared. Sasuke's cursed seal flared to life, covering half of his skin with black tattoos. He's waiting for you at the old Uchiha hideout outside this village. He says you will know. Where is it? And I'm supposed to believe that I will take you there myself. Itachi-san is very scary. He'd kill me if something happened to you before he gets to meet you, so you don't work for him. Oh no, Toby works for another person who is even scarier than Itachi-san, and I don't want to be a bad boy or leader. Sama will punish Toby bad. Sasuke released the cowardly clone, frowning. What guarantees do I have that he will be alone? The clone shrugged. You don't. Toby can't make promises for others, but Toby really is a good boy, and he will take Sasuke-san to where he needs to be. If Sasuke-san wants it, he can take friends with him. I see. Then meet me tomorrow at dawn here. I will have 3 other ninjas as backup. Hi, Toby will come. You can trust Toby, Naruto's clone said, sounding happy like a child given a candy for good behavior, and he promptly shinned away and vanished via his wormhole jutsu. Before Sasuke managed to follow him, when real Naruto received memories of his clones, he smiled. Everything was going just as planned. He would deliver Sasuke into Orochimaru's hands, then he would send Orochimaru to kill Danzo and sabotage Konoha's efforts in organizing other villages into an alliance that was surely coming. With Orochimaru kept busy with his new body, with Itachi going rogue to free his beloved brother. The Akatsuki would be also distracted him. There were a few things to be ironed out in his plans, but first things first, he had to meet Itachi and gauge his personality firsthand. Then he could plan how to manipulate the elder Uchiha. The capture of Sanbai in 5 days would do. Besides, Orochimaru would need a few days to get used to Sasuke's body, so it was just as well that he had some time before going further with his plans. Time skip. Naruto stood in the same spot where he met Sasuke for the first time. In his disguise as Tobi, he didn't wait too long. Sasuke was on time for their meeting. The Uchiha wore a black shinobi suit, very ANBU-ish, except he had a sword on his hip and wore no mask. Sasuke-san, you're alone. I'm touched. You trust me so much. Tobi will be a good boy. Naruto greeted his ex-teammate with an exaggerated posturing that made him look like a hyperactive 5-year-old. Shut up, I never said I was going with you, Sasuke replied coldly. Oh, I'm not an idiot. Sasuke glared at Naruto/Tobi. I know you're working for the same people like him. I can't trust you. This is how it's going to be. You will give my message to Itachi so he can know where to find me. There's an ancient Uchiha hideout known only to our people. We will meet there in 3 days alone. Naruto narrowed his eyes. Well, Sasuke got smarter, not by much. Oh, I can't say that to him in face. He'll use those awful eyes on me. No, Tobi is a good boy, but Tobi isn't stupid. I don't care. Sasuke scoffed. He tensed when he saw the masked person in front of him reach under his coat, but it was just a scroll. What is that, a scroll? Sasuke-san, Naruto spoke in childlike fashion. You can write your reply in it, and I'll give it to Itachi-san. That way I'll be able to stay away until he is calm again. My brother doesn't throw temper tantrums, Sasuke said with raised eyebrows, expressing his skepticism. Not like most people. I agree. Naruto singed and danced playfully, but we both know he does awful things to people when he's not happy. Sasuke glared fiercely at the masked man, then calmed down. Fine, I'll do it. Give me the scroll. Naruto grinned under the mask. Oh, thank you. Here, take it. When Sasuke reached for it, stepping closer to Naruto, it was too late for him to react as he felt a pulling sensation. The world rippled, then solidified again, but he wasn't in the same place. He could only curse himself for his naivete. That Tobi guy was setting him up the whole time. His Chikudo was in his hand, his Sharingan blazing red. He was in some sort of underground passage. That much was obvious, which begged the question, was who made it? Somehow he doubted he'd like the answer. One thing was certain though, Itachi wasn't around. He started to move cautiously, instinctively brushing the walls with his back. He knew he was being watched. Orochimaru was grinning diabolically as he watched Sasuke move like a mouse in Snake's Den. Madara truly outdid himself. Orochimaru didn't think it would happen, but the legendary shinobi did keep his word. Sasuke was perfect. Orochimaru noticed how the boy moved. Danzo sure did a great job in training his body and eyes. Now fully evolved. Naruto sighed as he saw a long blade of lightning chakra stick out of his chest. My, someone is mad at poor me. Sasuke was standing behind him glaring. He cancelled the jutsu you tried to feed me to Orochimaru. Obviously I failed. Naruto chuckled as he faced to stand a few steps in front of Sasuke. They were both standing at the edge of the local forest somewhere in the rice country where Orochimaru kept one of his many hidey holes. Naruto studied Sasuke through his otherworldly senses. He truly was in control, but Orochimaru wasn't gone. It was like he was sealed in Sasuke, just like Kyuubi once was within Naruto. So that's how he did it. Naruto concluded he simply created a reverse Jinchuriki of sorts. His cursed seal was designed to seal Orochimaru's essence in the host so that he may jump in it and latch on the host's chakra and connect to his essence. Then he'd overpower his host's will and chakra with his own, which by then was totally immersed within the host's chakra system. Orochimaru was in fact sealing himself inside his hosts, only the seal was designed to let him overtake his hosts from within. It was similar to the seal Suna used on their Jinchuriki. That seal was barely holding back the demon. It heavily depended upon the host's will to function. There was one problem with cursed seal: if the host had strong will or spirit, then Orochimaru was in trouble, which he solved by choosing young gullible hosts who could be either tricked or coerced into letting him win the contest of wills. Besides, he was a chakra monster in his own right, against whom few normal people or shinobi could prevail. Uchiha Sasuke obviously wasn't one of those. His potent dojutsu and inherited powerful spiritual energy were too much for the snake summoner. Such was the potency of the Uchiha bloodline. Orochimaru was truly a fool to think he could overpower a bearer of the bloodline capable of controlling people and tailed beasts, but Sasuke didn't win fully. If his chakra were to be close to depletion, Orochimaru could emerge and attack Sasuke from within when he is weak. Unfortunately, Naruto had no time or desire to wait for such an event. He'd have to settle for some goals while others had to be discarded. He smiled under the mask. There were more ways to achieve certain goals. I suppose you'll be going back to Konoha, Naruto said and made a non-committing gesture. I have no choice, Sasuke replied coldly. I can't kill you now, so I have to let you go. Thanks, that's good to hear. Naruto chuckled loudly, dismissing Sasuke's threat. But do you really believe that Danzo will let you come back by now? He knows you've left Konoha without authorization. and he will have you checked out when he discovers that you have Orochimaru inside you. While Sasuke looked nonplussed, he was aware how callous his boss was. As expected, you failed to consider such a possibility. Sasuke-san, tut tut, you're not as smart as I was hoping. Naruto taunted. Why don't you get to the point, you bastard? Sasuke hissed coldly. I'm sure you've got an idea how to solve my problem. You set me up again. Hi. Naruto laughed at his clueless ex-teammate. You're absolutely right, but have no worries, this will actually go in your favor. You see, I know some things about Danzo that no one else suspects. It is coincidentally tied to the murder of your clan. Sasuke went stone still. He was very curious. His rage was stilled like a calm before the storm. You must have realized by now, after testing your powers extensively, that there wasn't a chance that Itachi-san could have killed every Uchiha by himself, nor that he could have escaped without being noticed. It is awfully suspect how ANBU patrols never detected signs of battle within the Uchiha district, nor how no alert was successfully raised or noticed. Naruto began explaining. I did notice some suspicious things. Sasuke was forced to agree. He did believe his brother had helped, but not at that scale. Speak more. Yes, Itachi had helped Danzo. Why would Danzo want the death of my clan? He is always concerned with village's prosperity by any means. My clan was one of the greatest military assets to the village. Sasuke questioned Naruto's suggestions. Normally I would agree, but Danzo's greatest ambition isn't Konoha's prosperity. He wants to be the Hokage, who would then turn Konoha into his ideal of what a hidden village is supposed to be. A village of ninja who were utterly loyal, unquestioning, and willing to do anything they were ordered as tools he could use as he saw fit, without any concern for their lives or freedom. You've seen what Root is like. Can you really believe that your clan would allow their members be more loyal to him than to the clan? Sasuke looked troubled, so Naruto pressed on, striking the metal while it was hot. You see, don't you? Besides, your clansmen were his political adversaries. They never liked having Root around. They considered it an insult to their authority as the police force. When Itachi came along, Danzo decided to use the opportunity. He helped him achieve his first step to his ultimate goal while he got rid of a major obstacle on his path to power. Also, he gained a lot of freshly killed Sharingan users to experiment with. What? Sasuke asked in shock. Oh, he did all sorts of nasty things to them. He was trying to create a way for himself to obtain the power to control Kyuubi. I mean Uzumaki. Naruto explained. Sasuke shook with anger. That man used him. Of course, you see, he was also working with Orochimaru. He needed the traitor's knowledge about bloodlines to successfully graft on himself Shodai cells to gain his Mokuton bloodline, yet he also used Uchiha Shirsui's eye to replace his own by. Now you know he never removes his bandages and pretends that his right arm is useless. Shirsui's eye was his goal from start. That Uchiha was feared for his ability to use his Sharingan to control other people without them ever knowing about it, like super hypnotism, if you will. He wanted to combine two bloodlines able to control the Biju. Sasuke concluded. I know that Naruto is Kyuubi's host, which explained his uncanny power. I was led to believe that it would be my job to ensure he never got out of hand. Too late for that, Sasuke-kun. Naruto chuckled. Our organization has already extracted Naruto's demon. Kyuubi is ours for good. Then Naruto is dead. Sasuke said he was disappointed. He wanted to fight Naruto to finally determine who was stronger. With his eyes, Kyuubi would have been no help to the blonde, hardly so. He somehow survived the procedure and is now our esteemed guest, just as are the other Jinchuriki. Oh, and we have Jiraiya of the Sannin in our custody as well. Sasuke looked like he wanted to run. What do you people want? What is your goal? Leader Sama wants to bring peace to the world, but for that he needs power to make the world listen. I see, Sasuke said with narrowed eyes. You've brought me here to send a message to Konoha. In a way, Naruto agreed. Well, on to the rest. Danzo helped Itachi to get what he wanted. Do you want to know what was so important to Itachi that he was willing to let Danzo gain such powers? You know I do, Sasuke replied angrily. I suppose you already know what is Manjikyu Sharingan and how to obtain it, but there is a price for that power, just as it always is when an Uchiha gains that. He is also cursed. How the power of the Manjikyu is great, but it also exacts a heavy toll on the user's eyes. Each use brings the user closer to blindness, and it can't be stopped. Your brother wasn't the only Manjikyu user in your clan. Many of the Uchiha were tempted to obtain its power, so they killed their loved ones for it, but they inevitably lost their sight in the end and were destroyed. Your clan forbade such a practice many years ago as it was pointless, Naruto said. So why would my brother desire such a thing, to end up blind? There is no worse fate for the Uchiha. True, but there was one solution. Itachi learned of one Uchiha who has managed to avoid getting blind. His name was Uchiha Madara. Sasuke frowned. Wasn't he one of the founders of Konoha? Naruto nodded. He was. Madara was one of the most powerful shinobi in history, second only to the Shodaime. Hokage like his brother Azuna Madara discovered how to obtain the Manjikyu. They both had it and used its power to become leaders of the Uchiha, and they led the clan to greatness and fame, but these new eyes caused them to weaken and lose sight Azuna less, so he wasn't as quick to use the Manjikyu as his older brother Madara was afraid, and so he desperately sought a way to prevent his fate. How exactly he discovered it I can't say, but he took Azuna's eyes instead of his own and gained the Eternal Manjikyu Sharingan. The eyes that held the power of both brothers and never lost its light. Sasuke's face was a picture of revulsion. He intends to steal my eyes, but I still don't have the Manjikyu. Itachi believes that it's not important. As long as he takes your eyes he will still have his own Manjikyu techniques, but without the terrible cost. I suppose he planned to go far away and re-establish the clan in his own image. Neat. If I beat him I could do the same, couldn't I? Sasuke asked. Possibly, but to do it you must get rid of Danzo first. Danzo also knows this and will do everything to prevent Itachi from becoming too powerful. It is quite logical to assume that Itachi will kill Danzo anyway to remove the threat of being outmaneuvered. Danzo will try to kill me then. Sasuke realized if he destroys my eyes Itachi will go blind and vulnerable. Naruto nodded. Sasuke never realized it, but his long-winded story had another purpose: to lower down Sasuke's mental defenses so that Naruto's subtle emotional manipulation through the force could work. It wasn't anything big, but sometimes even the lightest touch in the right spot could topple the mountain. Sasuke has effectively become Danzo's sworn enemy, so you must remove him first, and the easiest way to do it is to expose him to your current Hokage Tsunade and the rest of the ninja higher-ups. I can't. Sasuke growled. Danzo has placed a seal on me to prevent me from talking about him. Every root agent has it, but does it prevent you from approaching Hyuga Hayashi and asking him to check out what lies under Danzo's bandages? It does actually. Danzo is very paranoid, Sasuke answered with annoyed expression. Okay, then I'll write the message and you show it to Hayashi-san. That should pique his interest. It should prove entertaining. Naruto was quick to write to Hayashi and he gave the note to Sasuke. That should be it. Are you ready to go back? Sasuke gave him a stare that said more than 1,000 words. It promised retribution. He never liked being used against his will. Hyuga Hayashi raised his eyebrow in that arrogant way. That was so natural for him when someone dropped a scroll in front of him. His Byakugan went active in the same second, but whoever delivered the thing was gone far away, probably through the use of Shunshin. His eyes scanned the scroll and couldn't find anything suspicious. Still, to be sure, he created one shadow clone, momentarily smirking to himself. Just because his clan generally avoided using jutsus, that didn't mean they didn't know any. He was a jounin. After all, when he received his clone's memory he was momentarily stunned. This information was unbelievable, he thought. Furiously, the council was supposed to convene in 30 minutes. Dame Hokage has summoned them to hear the latest news about the Akatsuki. She needed their input. Hayashi found this scroll delivery awfully convenient for him and some other counselors. That is, maybe it would pay to have a short chat with that Nara Shikaku. No matter how difficult he may be at times. The council was in full assembly. Tsunade noticed as she sat at the head of the long rectangular table made by her venerable grandfather. The wood was harder than steel and looked like polished brown marble. Designs on its surface represented Konoha's and Fire Country's sigils, intertwined and equal as it should be always. Both were a symbiotic union of power and prestige that lasted for nearly a century. The clan heads were assembled, calm and curious. She rarely invited them to such a gathering, but this was obviously urgent. They had no idea when she first heard the news. She was caught in a whirlwind of anger and fear, but now only hope held her firm. She resolved to stay so until the worst was either confirmed or not. She was the fifth Hokage. Tsunade, we're all here. Would you please start the meeting? Koharu asked politely, her old wrinkled face like stone. She was outwardly cold and harsh, but Tsunade knew that the woman was worried. Thank you, Koharu, I will. This is the latest news we have on the Akatsuki. They have captured Jiraiya and Naruto, plus an undisclosed number of other Jinchuriki. There was a shocked silence. Nobody could comprehend how could someone capture both Naruto and Jiraiya. Are they alive for now? Tsunade answered Inuzuka Tsume's question. That I know for sure, since they both still have their names on the lists of the Toad clan. Those can't be fake. Then Kyuubi is lost to them, Danzo said roughly. Angrily, we should have never let him go. I would disagree. Shibi of the Aburame clan said coolly. If they were able to defeat Jiraiya-sama and young Naruto together, I'm not so sure we'd have fared much better. Danzo sneered slightly. What a defeatist attitude. If we were to experience such a jeopardy, it would have been better to destroy Uzumaki-san and his demon than let anyone else have them. Enough. What was done can't be undone, Tsunade said sharply, narrowing her eyes. We do not know what they want with Jiraiya and Naruto, but they are probably kept as hostages, and for information, our mistake was in assuming they would leave Naruto for the last, and we know they've acquired several other Jinchuriki. We must act or soon all will be lost to these criminals. I agree, Nara Shikaku suddenly said, still looking bored. Jiraiya-sama and Naruto are useless as hostages however, and the Akatsuki is aware of that. My guess is they want to question Jiraiya-sama about our strengths and weaknesses. The same goes for other villages. His spy network is quite extensive. If only we had better insight into their goals. They want peace, Tsunade replied. That's what we've been told. Whoever leads these criminals wants the power of tailed beasts to gain the leverage to enforce his ideas. It seems crazy, but there's a certain logic to his behavior. After all, anyone who is all tailed beasts can do almost anything. Wise, it's all about power. They want to rule us, Danzo added. Besides, Kyuubi was ours, and we can't let their theft unpunished. Criminals can't and never will dictate our lives. Fine, we can all agree about it, but the problem is how do we stop them? Inoichi Yamanaka said despondently. The Akatsuki is a multinational threat, that's obvious. Hyuga Hayashi voiced his opinion. They want all Jinchuriki, so we must act quickly and warn the other nations, and we should form a temporary alliance until this matter is resolved. It's logical, I concur. Shibi said we can't find them alone. Not fast. It is agreed. Then Tsunade asked. Everybody at the table nods. We're giving good. I approve of this action, and emissaries will be dispatched to all hidden villages. The Reikage has already sent his messengers to inform us that his brother the Jinchuriki of Hachibi is missing. We can assume he is now also the guest of the Akatsuki. The same can be assumed for Shichibi. Their village was recently attacked by Kakuzu, who once was their best nin. Their Jinchuriki wasn't seen since. Danzo frowned. He wasn't informed of this. They are moving quickly, too quickly. The strongest Bijou are already theirs. I suspect they have more of them, or are in the process of acquiring them as we speak. I know, that's why we must ally with other villages to stop them from gaining the last Bijou. Shikaku will soon reform somewhere. If we can get it first and seal it away, then hide it, we may have the chance to win. Tsunade explained. You have already thought this out, Hokage-sama. Kimichi Choji asked. I have. The alliance is our last and best option. The Akatsuki are strong enough to challenge any individual or single village, but 5 great villages are something else. Even they will have to think twice before challenging us. Each village has enough powerful ninjas to take them all on and win. Then we're in Concord, Koharu said, acting as the council voice. Let's hope that the other villages agree to our proposal. A meeting between 5 Kages should be arranged in neutral territory, the land of iron. Hamura spoke gravely. Everyone nodded. Byakugan. Hyuga Hayashi suddenly shouted and stared at Danzo. Danzo looked shocked but couldn't move. Nara Shikaku smiled and showed his hands. They were making a rat hand sign, which indicated he was using his shadow imitation to hold Danzo in place. The man couldn't even twitch. Explain yourselves, Tsunade thundered, shocked that the two would assail another counselor. Any violence in the council chamber was strictly forbidden. If I may move my hand, Hokage-sama, all will be revealed, Nara Shikaku said. Tsunade nodded. While the ANBU were now in the room ready to kill the man if he proved himself traitor, Shikaku slowly forced Danzo to imitate his motion, and so everybody saw what was under Danzo's bandages. You Bloodslicer. Some word it was the worst offense one could give to another person in Konoha, describing a person who stole bloodlines or experimented selfishly on their carriers. So far only Orochimaru was called, so much to the shame of his teammates and deceased sensei. Kumo ninjas weren't held in much better esteem, but when Shikaku exposed Danzo's right arm, its woodiness clearly showing more Sharingans, and the fact it was made of Shodai cells, everyone was aghast. Tsunade's chakra flooded the room, filling it to the brim. Even Danzo's body twitched in the instinctive flight reflex, so potent was her killing intent. No one could move. It was like being caught in the tsunami that filled the horizon, and there was nowhere to run. It reminded everybody that this woman was one of the most powerful shinobi in the history, topped only by fewer. Chakra subsided gradually as she got hold of herself. Everyone stated to breathe. Gain. She glared at Danzo. You are dead, you know that, don't you? Danzo stared stonily ahead, refusing to meet her gaze. Answer me, Tsunade roared. Vanishing from her seat, she grasped his arm at the shoulder and pulled. It came off with a sick wet sound, making Danzo gasp in pain. He couldn't move. Tsunade paralyzed him with her medical jutsu, cutting off his control over his body below, also stopped his bleeding. I was lucky to have cancelled my jutsu, Shikaka thought with profound relief. He'd have been injured just like Danzo otherwise. ANBU, keep him upright, he still has some answers for me, Tsunade ordered as she retook her seat. It was obeyed unhesitatingly. Nobody wanted to piss her off right now, nobody at all. She stared at the limb with some interest, then sealed it away in a scroll she always had at hand. You will be executed after this meeting is adjourned. That is my decision, Tsunade announced with stony expression on her seemingly young face. I care not for your reasons, some things can't be forgiven. I still want an explanation, old man, and make it a good one, or I will demonstrate my medical expertise on you. When you are being kept alive despite the most excruciating tortures inflicted upon you by Ibiki and Anko, you will have years to change your mind, I assure you. Everyone stared at Danzo, the man with much influence in the village and country. They knew he was a hardline warmonger, a preacher of Might is right motto. They knew of his ambitions and ideals, but nobody expected this to desecrate the blood of the shodaime of a man he too admired and knew once. That was simply too hard to believe. Danzo wasn't quiet because he felt like it. He was thinking furiously how to salvage the situation. He was dead, but he couldn't tell the truth, not all of it, or everything he worked for would fall apart. The only thing he cared about at the moment was to keep Konoha in one piece. A shame, he so wanted to be the one to lead it to prosperity. Oh well, it was time to take one for the team, so to speak. He hoped that Hiruzen was enjoying his stay in Shinigami's stomach, for he was going to hell. At least he outlived him, even if not by much. Well, Tsunade prompted, feeling impatient. I did it for Konoha. Danzo started ignoring Tsune's snort of disdain. I have been aware of the possibility that something like this might happen. The situation with the Akatsuki and Jinchuriki, I needed an ace in my sleeve to ensure that the control over Kyuubi doesn't slip out of our grasp. And why didn't you warn us before? Hayashi asked. He was unable to see any signs of a lie. Sarutobi was aware, as were Koharu and Hamura. It all started with Kyuubi's attack on Konoha 16 years ago. It was a premeditated attack, not an accident, as many believed, that caused ruckus among counselors, but Tsunade's sharp glare quieted them. Care to elaborate on that? Danzo smiled ironically. This was the part where truth and lies mixed so well. No one would notice. The fourth Hokage has left a message for Sarutobi saying that someone was controlling the beast to attack the village. They fought and he won, but the assailant escaped badly injured. He was exceptional shinobi, able to match the fourth even after he used his fabled Hiraishin, if only for a while. Impossible, nobody could last long against Minato. Tsunade said. Danzo agreed. Not even that man could. The message didn't exist, of course, but over the years he and Hiruzen worked separately to ferret out the real truth of that event, and all things pointed to one conclusion. I agree, Danzo said, but who could say what powers Uchiha Madara has now? You're grasping for the last straw. Shikaku snorted. Madara is dead. Even if he were alive, he'd be so old that even my son would be able to defeat him. Uchiha Madara was the only shinobi who could control Kyuubi as if it were his pet. Koharu stated. You youngsters never knew him, not like we did. He was a monster in his own right, with those terrible eyes of his. How can he be still alive? He would be almost 100. Tsum protested. Uchiha, or no, he is still a man. I don't know, Danzo admitted, but I know he is the person who started the Akatsuki a long time ago, back during the last war. I believe he has found some followers even then. He then moved in the water country to take control of their fourth Mizukage, who in turn started those horrible bloodline wars. Why would he could hope to achieve with them? Tsunade asked, feeling some reservation for these statements. Danzo couldn't be trusted. I have no idea. No one does. His goal is in one part clear: revenge against Konoha. He has never forgiven this village and his clan for choosing Senju Hashirama as the first Hokage. I believe he was the one who gave training to Itachi and told him how to obtain the Manjikyu Sharingan. Itachi became his co-worker and ally and spy. I tried to use him too to obtain means to counter Madara's power over Bijou, so I allowed Itachi to do what he wanted and acted quickly to obtain necessary body parts and waited for the time they were needed. I was too late. Obviously Madara has several Bijou and we still don't know what is his ultimate goal. So in your opinion, the extermination of the whole clan was acceptable? Shikaku asked incredulously. I believe that there were more of them who worked for that man because he was able to enter their district and no one was aware. No, he must have had some other Uchiha too on his side, since Itachi was going to kill them all. I was fine with it. Less worries that way. Danzo shrugged. After saying that, and you let Uchiha Sasuke live? Shibi spoke, his tone neutral. Wasn't he also a risk? Itachi left Sasuke alive to serve another purpose. The boy wasn't even aware that his death was just postponed. Itachi was planning to goad his brother in obtaining the same eyes so that he could steal them and gain even more powerful Manjikyu, which in turn would make him even more dangerous than Madara was. I intervened and recruited him to stop him from playing Itachi's game. I gave him training to kill Itachi eventually. In the worst case, I intended to destroy his eyes to deny Itachi the ultimate power of the Uchiha that would hurt Itachi the most and make him vulnerable. Madara also would have lost much. You're referring to the eternal Manjikyu Sharingan? I've heard of it from my parents, Tsunade said with serious tone. It made Madara what he was, my grandfather's equal. Indeed, I believe Madara lost some of his power. That's why he recruited Itachi. Itachi agreed, probably planning to gain the ultimate dojutsu and depose Madara. He was always ambitious, cold as ice. That one was, Danzo answered, playing his role for what was worth. Itachi was going to end up as the most demonized person in the world of ninja. This was actually fun. How did you graft my grandfather's cells to your body? It was Orochimaru, wasn't it? The blonde woman asked. Danzo made a disgusted expression. Yes, I was forced to work with that vile man. How Hiruzen could have trained something so twisted I'll never understand, but he was useful. Of course I was planning to get rid of him later on. Orochimaru was too dangerous to be left alone. In fact, I knew of his lust for Sharingan and I gave him access to young Sasuke. I was counting on Itachi to destroy Orochimaru before he managed to lay hands on his brother. Everybody glared at Danzo, who smiled coldly. Do you have any more data on the Akatsuki? Or Itachi or Madara? Tsunade asked her last question. There isn't anything else but this. Whoever leads the Akatsuki for Madara is a very formidable ninja. He has killed Salamander Hanzo by himself. I believe he is stronger than any Akatsuki member except Madara. That shook everyone. Hanzo was one of the strongest ninja ever, without special bloodline but genius in fight, and with massive chakra pool he was match for anyone. He adhered to his own code of honor, often sparing lives of strong opponents he defeated. He was that strong he could afford being merciful. He once defeated Tsunade, Jiraiya, and Orochimaru and spared their lives. In exchange they had to bear the title he gave them, Densetsu no Sannin 3 legendary ninja. He did that out of admiration for their perfect teamwork, the best he ever saw. Tsunade's hand moved slightly and the Anbu obeyed. Danzo died courtesy of the kunai in the back of his skull. This meeting is finished. Uchiha Sasuke stood in front of Tsunade rigid, and felt almost happy. He knew instantly when Danzo died, feeling the seal on his tongue die in a small flare of chakra. His freedom was welcomed, and the revenge he attained celebrated silently. With a lone tear for what was lost, he saw the stunned wrecked ion of Kakashi and felt relieved a bit. He could never bring himself to fully trust the man who had obtained Sharingan when his Uchiha teammate died. Sasuke found scrolls referring to the theft a long time ago, so he was wary. He now saw that Kakashi was truly saddened with his clan's demise. Sakura too looked horrified at the vile truth that swam to the surface and gave him a look of deep commiseration. She didn't change in the last few years, not really. Oh, she grew taller and stronger, but she was still head over heels in love with him. Pointless really, he'd never pick her. She was too loud and too pink for his tastes. Are you listening, Uchiha Sasuke? Tsunade's voice drew his attention and he nodded. Good, you will tell Kakashi all you know of the route and help him organize the cleanup operation. I can't allow divided loyalties. Not now. You will also submit yourself to a full mind scan to ensure that you are really yourself. I don't want Orochimaru popping out one day in your body with your eyes. Understood? I have nothing to hide. Tsunade nodded. For what's worth, I am sorry for what happened to your clan. I know what is it like to be the last survivor. Danzo has committed unspeakable crimes. I no matter his excuses, we do not kill our own ever. Sasuke nodded. When will I be able to hunt down Itachi? I believe he has grown weaker in the past few years, while I have grown stronger with Orochimaru's power added to mine. There will be no better opportunity to remove the traitor. That will happen sooner than you expect, but it would be better for you to test your abilities to avoid mishaps in the future. You can go now. Tsunade dismissed Sasuke, who obeyed, followed by Sakura. Tsunade looked at Kakashi. What do you think of all this? The silver-haired ninja looked thoughtful. We are still being used by that strange man who gave Sasuke all that information. He used us to kill Danzo. He obviously doesn't fear us. He is probably that Uchiha Madara, if Danzo is to be believed in this instance. I agree. The ability he displayed before Sasuke, that time-space technique, it's very dangerous. Tsunade thought out loud. She looked at Kakashi with interest. Can your newest technique counter his? They do appear to be similar in nature, so maybe we won't know until I face him, Kakashi replied honestly. He grinned. Suddenly, at least Naruto and Jiraiya are alive. Tsunade sighed. That's the only good thing I've heard today. Go keep an eye on Sasuke. He might do something stupid. Kakashi vanished in a swirl of leaves. Naruto felt a tremor in the force, a wave front of the change coming, and he smiled. He knew his ploy to get rid of Danzo would work. Konoha was now busy cleaning up route, thus tying its valuable resources elsewhere. He wondered what lies Danzo spewed to save his precious Konoha, probably those which made him look like a well-meaning if crazy asshole. Good riddance. He let slip things about the Akatsuki and their prisoners to accelerate the formation of some multi-village task force to battle them, just to buy time to do his things and to thin down the numbers in the organization. It would be hard to kill them all by himself. He loved Madara's spatial folding ability. It made things so much more manageable. He wondered how strong Sasuke has become, if he had grown strong enough to prove entertaining during the fight with Itachi. Sasuke with Itachi's eyes, that would be something to see and to humiliate. Naturally, it was time to get to know Itachi a little better. Time skip. They were walking alone unnoticed just as they planned. Two cloaks fluttered slightly as the light morning breeze caressed them gently like a lover from the fairy tale. Not that their owners ever perceived such a thing. Their hearts were as cold as ice and their minds as sharp as diamond-edged blades. Yes, Uchiha Itachi and Uzumaki Naruto were as cold as they came. At least they seemed so, but both had passionate yearning to achieve their goals. One to conquer all in his way, the other to conquer the fate that befell him. It had been a few days since the two were paired up to hunt down the three-tailed beast somewhere between the land of fire and the land of water. It was clear that both countries would be on alert against the Akatsuki due to the great success that this group had with the obtaining of the Jinchuriki. Naruto suddenly paused, spreading his consciousness in currents of the force. He smiled. Suddenly, they are here, just as I said. We will have to act against them, won't we? Itachi-senpai. Itachi refused to react to Naruto's use of the honorific, knowing it was just a meaningless attempt to annoy him. The blonde had proved to be brash, arrogant, and absolutely fearless. Not even Hoshigaki Kisame dared to tease him. How many? The Uchiha asked coldly, already making his own assessments. A lot. Naruto snorted. I can sense one Kage-level signature, though it is especially potent. A woman, if I'm not mistaken. Itachi silently filed away this little tidbit about Naruto. He could differentiate ninja by their chakra very precisely. Quite impressive. Then Mizukage herself is here. Terumi May-san. She is rumored to have 2 blood limits. Naruto whistled in surprise. That's rare indeed. Itachi agreed. No wonder Madara instigated bloodline exterminations. In the water country, some of those were quite powerful, even against your clan's abilities, Naruto said, ignoring Itachi's surprised widening of eyes. It wasn't really relevant in this matter. Well, then we will have to hit fast and hard. You will take care of Sanbai with your dojutsu. You can still exert yourself to that level, can't you? Of course, Itachi said, hiding his sudden anxiety. That last question clearly indicated that Uzumaki Naruto was aware of his illness. How much more? The boy knew good. Kage Bunshin, Naruto said, and created a single clone who took a small scroll from Naruto and went his own way towards the tall hill in the distance. What is that clone supposed to do? Itachi asked curiously. You will see soon enough, so don't concern yourself with that. Your task is to guide Sanbai away and to crush any who oppose us. I will stall the mist contingent. Are you really going to confront the Mizukage and her ninja alone? Yes. Is there a problem? Naruto bit out, feeling offended. He did take out Hachibi's host single-handed. As you wish, Itachi answered. It was Uzumaki's funeral anyway. When the mist rolled and suddenly the ninja contingent from Kirigakure knew that they were under attack. Ao, what do you see? Terumi May demanded from her chief censor and scout. The only mist Nin with the Byakugan implanted. The red-haired woman was ready to battle, for this was sensitive operation to seal Sanbai again in a mist-chosen container, the future weapon of Kiri. She disliked the practice, especially since she had seen firsthand how unstable and powerful Jinchuriki could be, but there was no other choice. Those criminals were collecting the Biju like toys. This way time could be bought to organize proper defense. I can't see much. Mizukage-sama, Ao groused after employing his implanted eye. The mist isn't ordinary. Someone knew we could pierce the regular one. This version is saturated with chakra to obstruct our sensors and seers, namely me, but I can tell that there are 2 of them very strong. Damn, may curse. Then turned to the old shinobi behind her with child in his arms. Shiro-san, be prepared to seal Sanbai and the child at any moment. We are about to meet some unpleasant visitors. Then she gave a coded chakra message telling her men to scatter around and make as many mist clones as possible to confound the enemy. They all waited, but nothing was going on. The child's cries startled May and Kiri. Ninja, it was in the wrong spot. May turned around and swiftly found Shiro-san. The man was dead, his left eye pierced with senbon. It went straight to his brain. Shiro is gone, she warned her men. Ao, find the child now. Ha, I don't think he'll do as you say. Samin spoke from the distance, his or hers voice floating around, echoing. The speaker was adept at hiding himself. Why not? May challenged the unknown person, hoping that the child would cry again, then she'd get the bastard. I killed him first. See, I couldn't let him spy on me and my buddy. The voice informed everyone with that calm, logical tone of a man explaining to his neighbor why he killed a rat under his house. Pity, he looked kind of cool with the eye patch like that copy ninja of Konoha. I guess May was startled by the admission. Ao was top-notch censor, his skill unmatched in Kiri Hunter core, yet this guy sneaked up on him and killed him without sound. Why are you attacking us? We are mist shinobi on official mission. Don't you realize that you've just signed your death sentence? The chuckle she got in response both infuriated her and gave her chills down her back. I think I'm quite safe, pretty lady with nice hair. You see, you haven't seen me, so you don't know who am I, so you can't catch me. May kept silent, trying to find a way to solve this situation, but no matter what she didn't see, how could she do it? None of her men could track like Ao, especially not her, but she wasn't Mizukage for nothing. All that chakra in the air, all that vaporous water around smiled and formed a mass of hand seals. Great exploding water wave. The resulting explosion of water consumed the whole mist and covered a wide area with a huge water-filled dome. The mist contingent was floating within, using their breathing equipment to survive. May found their target quickly, growling internally. That bastard was standing on the dome's surface, laughing, probably at the waste of chakra. She saw him vanish in a blur, probably using the Shunshin technique to move somewhere else. She scowled and released the technique. It was useless against someone like that. Find him, she ordered, and her men obeyed. She too moved to do the same, followed by 4 guards. Naruto's Shadow Clone was in position lying on top of a hill that was 2 or 3 kilometers away from the place where his original was battling the Mizukage and her forces. He held a strange object in his arms. It looked like a strange version of a bow, except it had no string or that front curved part which held the string. There was a wooden base carved for easy handling with long metal tube protruding from it, and from sides 2 flat magazines emerged holding within several arrow-like projectiles made of metal. They were thicker and shorter than regular arrows. Hollowed inside each was a seal tag designed for a specific function. The clone carefully aimed in the direction where his creator went and waited. After a while he squeezed the trigger, releasing the first projectile. There was a sonic boom in distance a moment later, but the clone paid it no mind. He fired again and again, causing more sonic booms to be heard until his magazine was spent. Naruto activated the seals he secretly planted on the missed shinobi. During their initial encounter, it was easy to do it with the force. Telekinesis was silent and absolutely precise. The first to fall was Terumi Mei. She died while spitting a large globe of lava at Naruto, who easily evaded the attack that simmered down almost instantly. Her followers could only gape at her torn corpse for a moment before they were struck down in quick succession as well. Each of them had huge gaping holes in their bodies due to the extreme kinetic energy each projectile had at the moment of impact. They were heavier than arrows and moved at supersonic speed, and mass plus speed produced extreme power. Naruto grinned under his black mask, enjoying the success of his latest weapon, his very own chakra-powered railgun. He loved seals. You could do so much with them. Naruto was aware of such a technology for some time. Thanks to his former Sith master, he instantly saw great potential in that technology, which his master considered primitive even if it was extremely advanced for his world. A few years of research, some of Jiraiya's old notes, and he was done. All it took was to perfect the design. Seals were designed to create tightly focused EM fields, which would then propel the arrows through the metal pipe, which also served as focusing coil and for ejection in the desired direction. A few weeks of work were wasted on trying to improve on the design, but limits were pretty much reached. A lot of energy was lost in the creation of said EM fields, and after a while the energy would dissipate to nothingness. But while it was usable, the weapon was absolutely deadly. No one could dodge the arrow moving faster than the sound, because it was already inside the target by the time anyone suspected what was going on, and the impact itself dealt so much damage that no one could survive. Another part of the weapon were homing seals. The ones placed on targets served as homing beacons for the arrows, which were equipped with their own seals designed to detect each tag in sequence. That setup was necessary since no one could aim properly at that distance at ninja who were moving constantly around at high speed. "You bastard!" one of the survivors screamed and launched a series of water missiles at Naruto, who zigzagged between each one and impaled the idiot on his obsidian sword. The blade trailed darkness as it was swung, creating an intimidating sight. Naruto shunshined in between a trio of mist A and Bu, flinging his hands wide, blasting them with potent force blasts that liquefied their soft innards into mush. The remaining 10 ninja realized they were facing an opponent of frightening skill. They immediately formed 5 two-man teams, aiming to overwhelm Naruto with series of coordinated ninjutsu and genjutsu assaults. The first duo worked in tandem quite well. One of them begun launching series of water-based attacks, while the other added his lightning element to strengthen them. The second team was watching Naruto as he was moving around and dodging, trying to hit him with genjutsu. They were having odd difficulties. The target simply wasn't responding. The third pair of ninja was watching his moves, analyzing his style carefully. The fourth and fifth team was waiting on the third's final analysis. One of the members of the fourth squad lost his patience and spoke to the two on the third team. "Well, what's your angle on this eel?" "I'm not sure," one of the two said. "He is somehow resisting genjutsu attacks by those two, and he's very fast, almost like he can see where the next attack will come from. Is he an Uchiha too? Then how am I supposed to know?" The other snapped at the shinobi who was asking those questions. "We should all attack from up close while those 4 keep him distracted," the other member of the analysis team suggested. "He can't possibly defend from us all. Even if he somehow produces another of his wind blasts, we now know of them. We can deal with this guy, but only together." Naruto sensed clearly in the force as the other 6 ninja decided to attack. That was fine with him. He was getting bored already. He avoided another water jutsu, a razor-sharp stream of water and a wave designed to slow his moves. 2 lightning streams danced on the water. He just used the force to push away the water from himself as he danced around, baiting the others to join in. It was basic strategy. Too many attacks will inevitably work against each other, thus limiting their effectiveness. Then it came an attack from 4 sources, creating a miniature tsunami threatening to drown him and break his body. Naruto saw 3 blurs jump impossibly high, sending a veritable rain of steel his way, and 3 more signatures were spreading around to catch him if he managed to escape. Naruto laughed as the force responded to his need. His battle lust arose sharp and hungry like a demon who once was in his belly. He channeled it, and gathered the power tightly in his frame, keeping it from spinning out of his grasp. His eyes burned momentarily with sulphurous yellow glow before subsiding into cold blueness again. The world slowed down for the young Sith Lord. The 3 blurs above him became slow-moving mist ninjas, still glacially floating in the air. He grabbed them with the force and jumped over the incoming attack while pulling down those 3 to take a hit instead of him. He grinned viciously as those 3 were buried under tons of raging water, as if he could be defeated so easily. A mass shadow clone jutsu created over 50 copes of him, and the remaining attackers, 7 of them, had to divide their attention severely as they were attacked by solid clones. Naruto joined a group attacking his clones furthest away from the others and waited for his chance. He saw it soon. One of the mist ninja dispelled 2 of his clones with well-placed sword swipes, while his comrade protected his back. Briefly, Naruto focused on the swinging ninja and cast a force confusion on him, making him believe he was attacking a clone instead of his comrade who was defending him. To his horror, the supposed clone became his comrade. He was killed by other clones with wind chakra blades. Instantly 5 more remained. Naruto mused and turned around. He saw another 2 shinobi fighting as a pair, watching each other's back. They killed his clones. He led his own group to intercept them. 3 of his copies engaged them briefly, giving him time to prepare his attack as the mist nin swung to finish off his clone. The last of his group, Naruto seized his sword telekinetically and pushed it straight in the belly of his partner. He wasted no moment and swung his sword vertically, using now wind chakra to cleave the shocked swordsman in 2 halves. Naruto didn't wait to enjoy his victory. He received memories of his other clones who were already done for, but not before killing one of the remaining mist ninja. 2 more left. To Shiro, you go back to our village and tell them what happened. I'll hold this one for a while so you can escape. One of the remaining pair ordered. Tohi's friend no weakened. Toshiro tried to object but was cut off by his comrade. Don't be a fool, he is too strong for us. Just do your duty, that's all I ask. Naruto watched the one called Toshiro run, then he switched his gaze at his comrade with ANBU shark mask. I could kill him, you know. The ANBU growled, you criminals, you have no honor as ninja. I'm not a criminal, you know, just a guy doing his job for his village. Alas, I'm deeply undercover and must look like a real missing ninja. It's too bad. I really liked your Mizuki. She was hot. Naruto's admission sent the ANBU in temporary mute shock. Not for long though. What is this, some kind of sick joke? Nope, sorry, but the fate of all ninja nations is at stake here. I must do certain things no matter how much I wish otherwise. I see, so you will kill me and let my comrade go just because? No, your comrade must live to tell about this event. It will only strengthen the need for villages to unite against the Akatsuki to oppose them more effectively while drawing the leader's attention to them, and I will be unsupervised, then free to act from within. I don't believe you, and I must avenge my comrades. And my Kage the Mist Shinobi readied his katana to act, but it was too late already. The real Naruto was not in front of him but below the ground. A simple earth-style tunneling tech and a grab for ankles left the Mist Nin buried in the ground and dead by kunai planted in his skull. Sorry my friend, but I don't need you to believe me, I know I'm right, Naruto said before leaving. He wondered if Itachi's shadow clone saw the whole thing. It was staged for his benefit. After all, that was why he held back on the use of some obvious force skill. Pain was waiting for them near the base in the rain country. Well done both of you, I'll take it over from here, Itachi-san. Naruto and Itachi nodded slightly. Jumping from Sanbai's armored form, Sanbai was a gigantic 3-tailed turtle. Although it had some crab-like features, the most peculiar thing about it was its right eye. It was gouged away, indicating some old and terrible injury. Itachi subdued it with his powerful dojutsu, and then both of them used it as riding steed. It was the most convenient way of transportation. They watched as Pain produced one of his black rods and stabbed it close to Sanbai's head in the neck. The creature roared, its chakra spiking as it was suddenly freed from Itachi's control, but then its eyes suddenly became same as Pain's, gray with circles in them. It was docile immediately, obviously under Pain's control. Naruto found it very interesting. The change occurred immediately after Pain introduced his chakra in Sanbai's system. Obviously Rinnegan was chakra-based power, a change initiated by powerful chakra, much like he experienced changes when he used either Kyuubi's chakra or Senjutsu. Even the dark side could do that to him. Being the bearer of Rinnegan, it was like being the sage. It also explained Nagato's amazing power level. He was really powerful, much more than Jiraiya in the sage form, because he too was already a sage with far greater range of abilities. It also explained why only some Uchiha obtained the Sharingan. There was a difference in the quality of their chakra. It spoke a great deal about the whole clan. There were quite a few Sharingan users among them. You may enter the base. I will keep the creature docile until it's time to seal it in the ghetto, Mazo Pain told them, and started to lead the beast lie. It was some kind of pet. Impressive, isn't it? Naruto said to Itachi, who observed Pain as he was leaving them alone. Yes, it is, Itachi said, looking now at Naruto intently. What is it? I saw you talking to that mist ninja, Itachi remarked coolly, maintaining his facade of indifference. Did you now? So what will you do? Snitch me out to Pain? You haven't got a proof, Naruto challenged, secretly pleased with this development. I might, Itachi replied. He was observing Naruto carefully, looking for any weakness. What do you want? Naruto asked, feigning anger. It wasn't really that hard, not these days. Your assistance with what to eliminate Uchiha Madara or Tobi as likes to go as now. That might be a problem. You see, he's already dead, Naruto said. That's what he wants everybody to believe. He hadn't died when he fought Shodame all those years ago, Itachi insisted, misunderstanding Naruto's last sentence. You misunderstood my words. I killed Madara, Naruto explained to Itachi, whose eyes momentarily widened in profound shock. Haven't you found it weird that he didn't speak to you in a while? Itachi recovered quickly. It wasn't uncommon for him to vanish for some periods. How did you do that? I drained his chakra with a secret move. That's all. Now what will you do? Itachi wasn't answering. He was thinking furiously. With Madara gone, Sasuke was safe. All he had to do was to die to bear the guilt for the Uchiha massacre alone, and Madara too. Only now Madara won't be able to corrupt his little brother. I know what you did. Naruto struck suddenly. I know. Why did the Uchiha have to die? I also know about your plan for Sasuke. How Madara bragged to me about the things he did. He told me how he made Kyuubi attack Konoha, forcing my parents to sacrifice themselves to save the village. He was going to kill me, so he wanted to make me suffer before I died. He hated my clan as much as the Senju. I see. What do you plan to do with that information? Nothing, but I want to destroy everything that man worked for, namely the Akatsuki. He robbed me of my childhood. He exposed me to hate. I will annihilate his work in turn. Nobody will remember who the man was or that he lived. He will only be a bad faded memory. And you'll help. Why would I? Because I can help you keep Sasuke alive through all this, Naruto stated, acting confident. Let's face it, your brother is still a hothead. Even if he gets his revenge on you, he will not sit idle. When the time comes, he will fight against the Akatsuki. He probably won't survive. Not against Pain. Trust me, Pain is the strongest ninja now that Madara is history. There is some truth to what you say, Itachi was forced to admit. I know Sasuke rather well too. He is very powerful, but lacks that mental acuity you have. So what do you suggest? Itachi asked, feeling very odd for asking Sasuke's teammate how to treat him. Take his eyes, Naruto stated harshly and hurried to explain. When Itachi became angry with the suggestion, look, hear me out. As it is, Sasuke is powerful but still lacks your experience and finesse. He is going to get himself killed, but if you take his eyes, he will effectively be out of the game for a time, but not dead. Even the elders will leave him alone, considering him as non-threat. Then you supposedly die fighting for the Akatsuki, and Sasuke gets his eyes back courtesy of one Uzumaki, Naruto, who fooled the whole group into thinking he betrayed Konoha. By then everything will be over and Sasuke will be healed and free to rebuild our clan to its former glory, but with extreme hatred for the act of gaining the Manjikyu. Itachi finished for Naruto, liking the plan. Whatever, Naruto said, the main point is you'll gain the power to destroy the Akatsuki. With your help I can save Jiraiya sensei and the other Jinchuriki. What about the Biju? Itachi asked, narrowing his eyes slightly. Naruto smiled, making Itachi blanch. It seemed almost evil. The Akatsuki was gathered again, all 10 ninja together. They were just done with sealing away Gobi, and Yanbi was extracted and sealed by Pain himself, while 2 groups hunted for the last 3 beasts available. Shit, this thing really is annoying. Yeah, Deidara grumbled after sealing was done. You always hate standing around doing nothing, even if it's for your own benefit, Sasori commented, admonishment clear in his deep tone. So I like my art better. Is that a crime? Deidara retorted angrily. It is actually, Itachi said when he entered the cavern with Naruto in tow. Bombing civilians is a serious crime. Hey Itachi, Kisame greeted the taciturn Uchiha. He looked oddly relieved. How did you guys do on your hunt? We did well, Kisame. Naruto-san has been very helpful. I merely had to scatter some Konoha Anbu and take control of Sanbai. Naruto-san meanwhile took care of the Mizukage and her shinobi. You killed the Mizukage, Kakuzu asked Naruto, feeling impressed slightly. The kid was 15 and already racking S-ranked kills like they were nothing yet. Too bad she was really hot, Naruto replied. Did you make her suffer? Hayden asked, licking his pale lips, and his eyes were gleaming madly. Jashin-sama prefers when I kill my sacrifices for him in the most painful way. No, I just made a big hole in her chest with her gone. The rest of the mist ninja were easy to kill. I even killed that guy with the Byakugan, he was a good sensor ninja. You killed Ao-san. Kisame looked surprised. He also became quite wary of the young blonde. Not just anyone could slay so many Kiri ninja alone. No loss there. He was always complaining about things. Enough with the meaningless talk, Conan said as she suddenly appeared in the cavern with the Gedomazo. I have some news for you. Our sources have told us that Shimura Danzo of Konoha has been executed for treason by the decision of the Godame Hokage. Interesting. Itachi said one of his old sins must have caught up with him. Conan looked at Itachi. Actually, it's been said he and you were partnered in killing your clan. I will not comment on that. The organization cares not about my past deeds, only about what I do now. Isn't that right, Conan-san? Everyone stared at Itachi as the man walked away. I hate that guy, Deidara muttered and retreated as well. He had a new hand, probably a transplant. In Naruto's opinion it didn't matter anyway, so who believes Itachi-san had help from Danzo? Naruto asked the remaining ninja, but no one was in the mood for talking. What a bunch of boring guys. You can feel them, can't you? The voice came, rousing Naruto from the trance he was in. Naruto turned around frowning, realizing with a start that Pain was behind him, and he didn't sense his approach. Also, he didn't notice he fell in the trance either. He focused on Pain, on the body he was using to interact with people. It was Yahiko's body, his favorite avatar. You can feel them too. Yes, they are restless now. I could detect some intelligence in Sanbai and Rokubi before that, but now they are just a mass of seething energy, wild destruction contained in the statue. You see, Pain explained his experience. Yeah, now that you mention it, I felt that too. Must be because they are no longer sealed in humans, perhaps, Pain said. In the end, he was watching Naruto. I also noticed that your chakra seemed close to the chakra inside Gedomazo right now. Really, I haven't noticed a thing, Naruto said, being honest with Pain. For a change it seemed, so maybe you should keep away from it for a while. You were a Jinchuriki too, perhaps it allows you some connection to Kyuubi even without your knowledge, I suppose. Naruto nodded. I'll do as you say. He was also doing it because this latest lack of attention disturbed him greatly. He never lost himself before. How do you feel about Danzo's death? Naruto suddenly changed the subject. I know you hated him. Pain looked at Naruto silent, then he looked away and started to leave the cavern. I only wish I was the one to do it. Wishes are one thing, reality is another, Naruto muttered and followed Pain. He didn't look back, determining to stay away from the statue for a while. He could feel something elusive like an old scent he could barely catch. It was always there lately, like someone invisible following his every move, but he couldn't sense anyone, not even Master Avarice, who was destroyed by him.